Hey guys, welcome back to Cracked Housing Fab, and today we're going to be working on the 4Runner again. You would have seen the video where we fixed the roof and the hatch, so we're going to do some mods now, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we got a whole pile of parts to put on the 4Runner. We're working on this at my brother's garage right now. So I just wanted to show you guys what we're going to be doing. This may be a two-part video because there's a lot to do. But I'll show you guys kind of what we're working with here. So we've got a set of spider checks, inch and a quarter wheel spacers. We've got a bigger set of wheels to throw on there, 265 BF Goodrich all terrains. We've got a set of Old Man Emu lift springs for front and rear. We have a skid plate that it was missing the factory one when he bought the truck. We have a set of Bilstein 5100s front and rear, a frame repair piece, because there's one spot that's questionable, so we wanted to fix it, make sure it's all solid. Everything else looks pretty good on the frame. And then, this is a really exciting part. We found a locking differential axle full assembly at a pick and pull near us here in Detroit. And obviously you can't not grab it, so we're gonna do a locking axle conversion on this too. So he's got the full third member, full axle. He had it sandblasted, painted it up so it looked nice and clean once it's underneath the truck. And yeah, so we got our work cut out for us. So we're gonna get going. All right guys, so we've been working on getting this thing jacked up off camera, and my brother's been working on it a little bit. He was pretty excited to get this thing put together. I can't blame him, but I just wanted to show you guys. So we got it jacked up. We pulled the rear bumper off. We're actually trying to get this piece off here because it's all dented up and nasty. We got the hitch off there somewhere laying around here. So we took that guy off. We'll have more ground clearance. We're gonna build a bumper for this and maybe even a tire swing out. But yeah, so we're gonna get ready to get the axle taken out, take all this stuff off of here and drop the axle, and then we can work on that frame piece. All right, we got the axle all taken out. Had to fight with it a little bit. Some of the stuff was kind of rusty, but got it out of there. These jack stands, he actually picked these up, my brother did, and they're really awesome. We'll throw a link to these, to the Amazon link down below in the description. These things are awesome. They're super heavy duty. They'll hold 10 tons, so it's plenty safe. They're very rigid. The vehicle's solid. You can't move it. So next step is we got to cut the muffler out, and then we have to get under there and start working on this hanger piece and cutting that out and getting the new frame section in. All right, we got our frame piece all prepped and ready. Got it cleaned up. Now we got a good spot to weld. And then that's the piece we had to modify it a little bit. So we're going to get this in place, we took some measurements, get the measurements where we want them, and we'll be able to tack it in, and I think we're ready to weld it in once we get it in the spot. Alright guys, this little status update is a few days later from the last clip that you just seen. So my brother was able to get everything all welded in here. Everything turned out really nice. Got it all. There's a few spots he had to kind of patch in little pieces here and there, but we got that. And then he went ahead and cleaned up the frame and painted it. It's that two-stage undercoating that has like the silver paint and then the black paint over top. So it'll look all nice in here when he's done. So we got that put in. So now the next step is going to be getting the shocks and the shock brackets in there. So we left this cleaned up so we can get the shock brackets in there. I'll show you these. So the shock brackets he found on BroncoGraveyard.com. So these are actually for like an 80s Bronco, the full-size Bronco. And we are going to cut them up and use them. So we already modified the one. So this has an angle on it, angle here and here. So what we did is we cut the bottom off because we're not going to use that. And then this piece, we cut a slot out of there and bent it so that it's a 90 now here. So now that'll go on the frame. It'll kind of be in this area. We'll have to bring the truck down off the jack stands to kind of get, so we know where we need to be as far as ride height. And then we'll weld these in. And then obviously the shock will be on the outside of the frame because normally it's up inside here and there's like a bucket in there. And that just didn't really care for that the way that it was. So this will go out here. We'll put the Bilstein 5100 in there and it should look pretty sweet when we're done. Alright guys, we went ahead and got this welded up, so that's all good now and across the top up here. And then what we're going to do is cut across here, shorten this up a little bit, come up on a 45, and that way it'll fit on the frame really nice. It'll fit up in here. It'll be probably roughly in this area. And the shock should fit in there really nice. We kind of test fitted in there and it looks really nice. Alright, here we go. This is what we came up with. That guy there. So once we put the shock on, probably going to end up about here or so. Well, obviously get it nice and straight. Should be good. And then once we get it tacked in place, I think we're going to jack it up and let the suspension go to full droop and then full compression and see what we have. Alright guys, so we got these brackets all modified up the way we wanted them. We tack welded them to the frame. That turned out really nice. And then we put the shock on. We wanted to see what it was going to look like and it freaking turned out sweet. This is super cool looking. It looks nice and beefy in there. We slid a tire on too, just to make sure. And we have probably, I don't know, 1 inch to 1.5 inches between the shock and the tire. There's plenty of room there. The tire will never touch that shock. So now what we want to do is we're going to put it back on these big jack stands. And we'll see what it looks like at full droop, full compression, kind of jack up each side. See what it looks like, see if we like it, see if we need to move this bracket up or down. This is kind of like where all the guys online we looked at have them. So we're pretty certain that's going to be a good spot, but we're going to see what we can do. Alright, so we have it sitting back on these, well, almost sitting on these big jack stands. So we're going to let it out and see how far down the axle goes. Go nice and slow. Okay, so that's full droop right there. The springs aren't going to pop out. So the springs, or the shocks, will be kind of like the limiter strap, I guess. But the only way this is ever going to end up like this is if we jump it, which I don't think that'll happen, but you never know. But now, probably what we want to do is jack up one side and see how far it goes. Okay, so as you can see, I have this side jacked up. The full weight of the truck is sitting on this side. The tack wall broke on that side, but it's fine. So that's kind of our full articulation. I think that's pretty good. We have probably maybe another 1 inch to 1.5 inches travel on that shock. Just a little bit more up travel. So I think that's going to be fine. I feel like I'm pretty happy with it. It has a long ways to go down, which we'd never, in theory, you'd never have it go fully extended for what we're going to do with it. We're not desert racing it. So I think this is pretty good. I think we can get those brackets welded in. I think we're all set. Alright guys, so we got the brackets all welded on, put the shocks on. It turned out really nice. It looks really good. We did stick a tire on there. It clears just fine. No problems rubbing there. Went ahead and tightened all the control arm bolts up with the weight of the truck sitting on them. And yeah, so pretty much we're ready to kind of put it back on the tires in the back. Really the only thing left is put a drive shaft in it, wire up the locker, and then we're going to be ready to go. So we're going to throw a tire on this side, and then we'll move on to the front. Okay, so we got it back on its weight. We got the tires back on, and this thing is like sitting really high. We're expecting it to kind of drop down a little bit, but it probably lift. It seems like 4 inches. Like it seems a long ways, but we'll know a little bit more once we drive it and it kind of settles and everything. But yeah, so the back is pretty much done. We just got to put the drive shaft in, and then we'll wire up the rear diff electronics, and then we should be good to go for this. We do have some stuff in the front to do. We got the Old Man Emu lift springs, the Bilstein 5100s for that, and we have to swap the front diff to match the ratio for this locking axle. But that's gonna be in the next video, guys. So if you like this stuff, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and we appreciate all the support. If you buy anything from our Amazon links, that does go to us. It helps us support the channel a little bit, so we appreciate that. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. We got some more 4Runner stuff coming from you. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching Cracked Up and Fab.